going to attempt to interview Casey McCullough. It's March the 16th, 2020 at approximately 3:30 p.m. We're in Melbourne. Yeah. Well, man, it's nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, I was waiting on you.
Yeah, I guess you've heard, you've talked to some of your brothers, I guess. Yep. Maybe your dad or whatever.
Yeah, I've talked to them all.
Talked to them all?
Yeah.
First off, let me tell you that this is a non-custodial interview. I'm not advising you of your Miranda rights. You're not being detained, nothing like that. You're free to go at any time.
Okay.
This is just a conversation between you and me. And I don't know how many times you talked to Dennis. I guess you talked to him a few times.
3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. Well, I don't think he's not going to be working this much, or he's going to be retiring within the next probably 12 to 24 months. And whenever we have cases like this, we don't ever want the lead investigator to hang on to it until the very end.
Right.
It needs to be a transition period when they give it to the next guy, and that way if I have questions that I can still reach out to him and he's still employed, and it kind of makes it for a better transition.
Makes sense.
With the investigation. Let me ask you, there is a lot of people, from what I can gather, that think you had a hand in this, right?
On social media, yes.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I have went through this case file, and I've been involved with this for over a year now, and I know that you didn't have anything to do with this, okay? I'm telling you that from my heart. That is honest. I'm not playing games with you. I truly believe that you did not have a hand in this.
Makes me feel better.
Okay? That's the truth. And I'm getting emotional about it because I put a lot of work in this. And it's important to me. And I'm sure it's important to you.
It's an internet's loose, yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen. I need to ask you a question. And listen, I'm a twin. I've got a twin brother. I've got older brothers and I've got younger brothers. And my question for you is, if one of your brothers had a hand in this and you knew that they did, would you be willing to come forward and make him responsible?
If I knew he did it, I would tell you.
Okay.
I mean, 100%. There's
no
way.
I know. Okay, well, that's good. I have sent my older brother to jail on more than one occasion. I've got an older brother that's just a shithead. That is, he's been on probation and parole almost his whole life. He's just a drug user, and man, I have sent him to jail on more than one occasion, and I don't have a problem doing it because just kind of the guy he is, I feel like now my twin brother, it'd be harder to do, but if I knew that he had done something that was just awful, I think I'd be compelled, and I wouldn't have any choice. I'd have to.
I feel the same way.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
I love my brothers, but if one of them did something wrong and I knew it,
Yeah.
I would tell you. I promise you.
Okay.
And I know a promise ain't much.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'd like to talk to you about some things, but I know I obviously I can't enforce this, but I would like for what we talk about to stay between you and me.
I understand that.
And just like what you said, as soon as you got in here, you've talked to all your brothers and your dad, and you guys are talking about what they've been through here in the last couple weeks.
Right.
And
so even from them?
yes.
Okay.
Well, you know as well as I do, if you tell one person, more than likely 7 or 8 people are going to end up finding out about it. You know what I mean?
Especially in a small town.
I mean, that's just the way it is. Your brother Chris said something very interesting during his interview. Let me tell you, I don't think Chris had a hand in this at all. I don't think he had anything to do with it at all. But whenever he got done taking his polygraph and we got done with his interview, and man, we took 3 or 4 hours out of his evening, and it was a long drawn out deal, and I was very impressed with his patience and his willingness to cooperate.
He's the patient one,
Yeah. Well, whenever I was dismissing him and thanking him for coming up, I told him, I said, Chris, I said, what we just did to you, I have to do to all your brothers and your dad. I've got to. And I think I'm on the right track. That's exactly what I said. You know what he said? He said, I think you are too. That was his last statement he made to me before he walked out. He said, I think you are too. Okay? So, whenever he said that, man, I got chills up my spine. It was a really intense moment as he was leaving the interview, and that last statement, it made me, it's like, man, I've got to, not only do I think I'm on the right track, by him making that statement, it just kind of validated what I was looking at and how I was approaching my investigation. Let me talk a little bit about why I have decided to focus on the male McCulloughs. Okay?
I would like to know.
Okay. In the investigative file that I have from the Arkansas State Police, I never saw anything about the fact that I knew there was a cleanup, and I knew that bed sheets and the bedding had been put in the washing machine, but I didn't know that whoever did this washed towels, took the towels out of the washer, put them in the dryer,
Started a second load.
and started a second load. Casey, there ain't no way some crackhead doper is going to hang around a homicide scene for over an hour and do laundry and try to cover up their mess. There ain't no way that's going to happen. I've been in law enforcement for over 20 years, okay?
I mean, I see where you're going. I just don't see how it could be my brother.
Let me finish. Let me finish, okay?
Okay.
So we know. See, I just found out about the towels being washed within the past 30 days. That information was never revealed to me in the case file.
Okay.
I came across that in an interview that you gave to some girls, or I don't even remember.
Rebekah's sister.
Yeah, right. They were quoting you verbatim in that interview that I came across. And whenever I saw your statement in there about whoever did this did a really good job of cleaning up and that they washed the towels and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, what? No, this cannot be true. So then I called the lead investigator at the time, And the guy that was at the crime scene when this happened, and I said, listen, man, I'm looking at a statement that Casey made where he's talking about whoever did this washed towels, put the towels in the dryer, and then put the bedding in. He said, yes, that's right. That's exactly what happened. I said, okay, thank you very much for confirming that.
I was there, yeah. We were both, we were doing a wellness check, and I was just going with him, and he went, looked in the washer, and then he looked in the dryer and saw there was 2 loads, and that's what I witnessed.
Let me ask you something, Casey. Whenever you took your truck to your dad that Sunday evening, Rebekah followed you in your truck, and you took your truck to give to your dad so he had a way to work that Sunday night.
Right.
You took that truck to your grandparents' house. That's where your dad was. Is that correct?
Oh man, that is so long ago. I mean, I can't say that it was either my grandparents' house or my dad's. I can't.
Well, it wasn't at your place.
Well, that's where my dad lived.
Well, I know.
So if he was there, I would have brought it to him. But I'm telling you, man, it was 15 years ago, and it's so hard to remember.
I thought in the case file that your dad was at your grandparents' house in town.
If that's what my dad, stated, and it was in the case file that way, I feel like that statement was the freshest.
Well, but why? See, the thing is, if Rebekah followed you, why? If your dad was at the trailer, you wouldn't have to take him the truck, right?
Well, I would drop it off. If she wanted to go somewhere else, which we did, we went to I think we rented some movies or something.
Yeah.
And so she might have wanted to drop me off with the truck, or we drop the truck off for my dad, and I get in the car with her, and then we go to Mountain View. That might have been what happened.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because, my dad needs a truck. Let's take it to him now, and then we'll just go, and he'll have the truck when he needs it.
Yeah.
Type kind of deal. That's what I feel like really went down. That's like, what feels my gut feel.
Okay. Let me ask you this. In all of your interviews that you gave immediately after, the days after this happened and the weeks after this happened, all of the information that you provided in the case file, you say absolutely nothing about Corey being at your trailer or being present in Izard County during that period of time.
Right.
Is that?
That's the best of my knowledge. I never remember seeing him at all. And when I did, it was when my family showed up to comfort me and help me through what was going on. And that's the only time I ever remember seeing him. He was off in, it was either Benton or Searcy. I don't remember which one they were living at. And
he was going to Searcy when this happened.
As far as, this never crossed my mind. Never.
Dude, let me ask you this. What did he tell you about the interview last week?
He told me that it got a little heated. I mean, but we talked about it, and we just feel like you're doing your job and trying to cover all your bases. And
heated. What did he say specifically?
He said that by the end, that you said next time you see him, he'll be in handcuffs.
Yeah.
That was, to me, that meant it ended pretty heated. I wasn't there, but to me, that seems like I'd be a little, whoa, that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Type kind of. So I felt like maybe y'all did get a little heated when he told me that.
I did. No, it really wasn't heated.
That's the way I interpreted what he told me.
Right. No, I guess I can see why he would say that. If you had an opportunity to help the investigation and to catch Corey in a lie, would you be willing to do that?
That would be so tough, man. I mean, I really I really don't think my brother did it. But if what we do proves that he didn't, type kind of deal. But
listen to this. I showed him a picture of the bedroom, the crime scene.
Okay.
Did he tell you about that?
He didn't tell me about the picture of the crime scene, no.
The washcloth?
Oh, he said something about a washcloth, yes.
What did he say?
He said that you said that his DNA was on that,
Yeah.
and so was Rebekah's.
Okay. And
That's what he told me.
was there any other explanation as to...
He told me that if it was down there, it was an old jackrag that's been there for a while. That's what he told me.
An old jackrag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Masturbate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, you
Casey,
said that's not how DNA works.
I showed him that picture of that wadded up washcloth that was on the floor. I said, Corey, that's got your DNA on it. Without a doubt. I know it does.
Honestly, does it?
He said, no, it don't. He denied it one more time. I said, Corey, when was the last time you were in that trailer? I said, Rebekah was killed on a Monday. When was the last time you were in that trailer prior to her being killed on Monday? You know what he said? He said, I was probably in that trailer a couple days before that.
A couple days?
A couple days is exactly what he said. A couple days. The reason he said that was to cover his ass if his DNA is on that washcloth.
Okay.
Okay? There isn't anything in the case file anywhere, no statements made by you, no statements made by anybody that said they saw Corey anywhere that weekend. You didn't see him on Saturday, you didn't see him on Sunday. The only time he was in that trailer was Monday morning. I believe that he was up here, he was visiting his dad because dad was in. He didn't want to drive back to Searcy late Sunday night. Listen to this. I also told him that his attendance records for school shows that he was not at school on Monday, September the 20th. You know what he said? Well, if that's what it says, I can't dispute that, but I don't know where I was. If you say that the documents say I wasn't there, then I guess I wasn't there. He's not denying not being at school on Monday, and he's putting himself in the crime scene 2 days before she was killed, and you don't know anything about that. That is total bullshit. That is total bullshit.
I didn't really know anything about it, but
Listen.
I don't want to seem like I'm trying to protect my brother.
No, I think that listen, man.
He's my family, and I don't...
Dude, I hear you, man. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I got brothers too. I asked Corey. I said, Corey, this is kind of a profiling type question. I needed to know a little bit of... I said, Corey, when did you lose your virginity? Did he tell you about all that? Those questions?
No, he didn't tell me that.
He said, I lost my virginity when I was 13. I said, okay. I said, as a teenager, how sexually active were you on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high? He said, man, probably an 8 or a 9. I was having sex a lot as a teenager. I said, okay, all right. How many fights have you been in as a teenager? He said, quite a few. I said, no, I'm talking knock down, drag out, man. I'm talking real physical. He said, at least a half a dozen, So whenever, and listen, I know he's your brother, Casey, but whenever you take a young person that's 17 years old, he was 17 when this happened.
Yeah.
He's would be considered highly sexually active by his own admission, highly physically aggressive, by his own admission, he knew, an important part of this, Casey, is the fact that whoever did this spent at least an hour or more doing laundry and trying to clean up. Nobody's going to do that unless they know you're at work without a vehicle and that Dad is out of state on a run. He had the place to himself and he knew it. I know it's hard to swallow, man. I know it's hard to swallow. Everybody's been looking at these drug... You think Chris Cantrell or J.B. Yates is going to hang around a fucking homicide and do laundry?
I wouldn't figure. I mean, it is weird that laundry was done, but maybe he's so cracked out of his mind he didn't realize what he was doing until he stopped.
No, dude.
I mean, I get you. I mean, yeah, I understand, but...
It don't happen like that. Your brother...
That's what I always thought. I was like, why would someone do that? And then the first thing that crossed my mind is they were on drugs and they didn't realize what they were doing.
People on drugs that kill people flee immediately or they burn the place to the ground. They don't clean up. They don't clean up. They don't spend an hour at the crime scene trying to clean up. Your brother had the opportunity, he had the ability, he had, by his own admission, his own vehicle and had no supervision. He had no parental supervision during this period of time. He came and went as he pleased. He did whatever he wanted to do.
Did you talk to Brandon? Brandon and Kelly?
He's on my list.
Okay, well, he would be the one that hung out with Corey the most up there.
Right.
You know, like a big brother, because we were all living down here, and so he kind of felt alone up there, and he would have been who might have known where he was that day. I don't know. But
well, 16 years down the road, it's not reasonable for anybody to say, you know, yeah, I know he was here on that day. This investigation is going to come down to physical evidence, and it's going to come down to catching people in lies where they have no reason to lie. Okay?
Okay.
That's what this is going to come down to. I knew that you would be surprised by Corey's response to me about being in the crime scene 2 days before she was killed.
I just learned that from you.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. And let me tell you, that is absolutely the truth in what he said. And I don't mind showing you the interview, okay? I
trust you.
It's recorded.
If you want to show it to me, I already trust you.
Yeah,
so.
it's recorded. I've got no reason to lie about that. You know, and that's the thing, man, Casey, is, you know, Dennis Simons did a lot of work on this thing. And I think he was more geared toward the doper, who has she been getting weed from, and all this kind of stuff. And the focus really hasn't been on what I'm calling, what is the absolute truth? What do we know to be absolutely the truth? And that's the physical evidence at the crime scene.
Right.
Okay? Whoever did this was trying to clean up. Whoever did this is connected to that residence in some way. And whoever did this knew that you were at work without a vehicle and knew that Claude was on a run and that he had a period of time to do whatever he could to try to clean it up. But he couldn't. It was too much. There was too much blood.
What's his motive?
This is what I think. By his own admission again, he was smoking marijuana during this period of time.
I was too.
I know. I think before he knew you were at work, I think on his way south, he swung by the trailer to see if he could get some marijuana from Rebekah. I think he walked in. I think she was in the back in bed. because she put her biscuit and her coffee in the microwave. She was saving it for later. I think she walked in, she put it in the microwave to save it for later, and she was going to go back to bed. I think he walked in. I think her purse was on the coffee table. I think he probably got her marijuana out of the purse, put it in his pocket, and then moseyed onto the back to get a little ass. Because, you know what? That's what I would have done. At 17, you don't think I'm going to try to get me a little pussy? I guarantee you I am. Now,
my brother's not like that.
Corey,
he's not like that. I mean, I know you've got the way you want to go.
Listen, dude.
My brother is not like that.
His own self-admission, he is highly physically aggressive and very sexually active.
He's bragging. He's a cop. That's what he does. I'm trying to level out with you. I don't want to not talk.
No.
So I want to tell you what I believe in, and I don't want you to just I'm not saying you railroad me, but I want to talk. I want to try to get this solved. But I don't want to sit here and just take your idea the whole time. You get what I'm saying?
No, I hear you.
Because I honestly do not feel like my brother did this.
Yeah.
I really don't. And if he did, it's going to be the biggest shock in my life. Because he's always been my little brother. We've always got along. He's had a big heart like me. Me and him got the biggest hearts in the family, is the way I see it. And me, I feel like I got the biggest one. I can't even shoot a dog.
Yeah.
I call my brother to come and do it.
Right.
But can I throw some ideas out there to you? And you can go back to yours if you want. Have you drilled Jennifer Payne or Jennifer Turner? Have you drilled her? Because she was absolutely hysterical when she found out that Justin and Rebekah were talking again. I watched her drive down the road, barely being able to stay between the mustard and mayonnaise. And she knew. I found out she was pregnant. So there's no way she wasn't pregnant before this happened.
Okay. I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
And they were talking, and me and Rebekah were good. Like, if Justin wanted to talk to her, I let her talk. And we weren't even dating anymore. We weren't together anymore. We dated for like 2 weeks, and then after that, we were just friends with benefits. And I was okay, I don't want to very often stay on Jennifer. Have you looked at Jennifer? Have you looked at her hard? Have you questioned her? I mean, have you been on her hard? Like you are my brother.
I haven't been on your brother hard, Casey. I haven't. I have, listen, I don't go, what directs me in an investigation isn't the he said, she said, I heard this, I heard that. What I focus on is what is at the crime scene. What is something that cannot be manipulated? Eyewitnesses are very unreliable, okay? People that hear things that it is so unreliable. The only thing that isn't unreliable is physical evidence. Do you think that in the middle of this bedroom where she was killed on the floor, wadded up washcloth covered in her blood is an old jackrag from Corey?
If it was tucked underneath the mattress?
It wasn't.
Well, I mean, the mattress
was flipped.
And could very well fall into a puddle of blood.
No. You listen, think about it. You don't have puddles of blood on carpet, okay? It's not. This was wadded up in a ball.
Well, I used the wrong word.
Okay, listen. Whoever used that had it in their hand and left it in a ball, okay? Soaked in blood in a ball, okay? That wasn't a jack rag. That rag was used to clean up, and it wasn't put in the wash.
Okay,
he overlooked it.
You can tell the difference in seminal fluids, and blood, can you not?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, was it seminal fluids?
I can't get into specifics on the evidence analysis,
because
okay?
then it would line up with what he's saying.
Right. Let's say there's no semen on it.
Okay.
Okay? How does that line up with what he's saying?
Well, if there's no semen on it, there's a small piece of me saying that's where he lived.
Why would he tell me that he was in that trailer 2 days before he died? And you know that's not true. Because it's in all of the dozens of interviews that you gave, at no time did you ever mention Corey being anywhere. And that would have been mentioned. He was not in that trailer on Saturday. He wasn't anywhere around on Saturday. He wasn't out there, man. He was giving himself an alibi.
So you're saying Friday-ish was whenever he's saying he was out there? Friday,
Saturday, that weekend, sometime.
Well, it would have been a school night or school day.
Friday was a school day. He was in Searcy.
All right, I got another one. Chris Cantrell, his adopted parents, they owned a trailer 5 minutes down the road. Did y'all check that out? I just want to know so that you know that I looked at everything.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Okay, you talked to Nick Clark?
Nick Clark has been talked to.
I feel like he's a good guy and he would tell the truth. But I guess that's an opinion.
Listen, you lived in that trailer, okay? Your dad lived in that trailer. Neither one of you guys were there when this happened, okay? Casey, listen, man. I'm not trying to railroad your brother. All I'm doing is taking the totality of the statements that he has made to me about who he is. That he agreed that he was highly sexually active as a teenager and lost his virginity at 13. That he was in multiple physical knockdown, hardcore fistfights, which shows that he is someone that's highly physically aggressive. He had a vehicle. He had no supervision. He's not denying being absent on Monday from school. He's putting himself in the crime scene 2 days before she was killed, and you know nothing about that. There was cleanup. Whoever did this spent over an hour in the home doing laundry. I mean, it is overwhelming. It is overwhelming as an investigator looking at the totality of the information that it encompasses Corey. I'm just telling you, that's the way it is.
I respect your opinion. I really do. And this, I'm glad no one's given up. And I'm glad that y'all are still trying. That is so tough to grasp.
I hear you.
And to convince myself that that's how it was, because he's my little brother. He's always been my little brother. And I know he's stuck up for himself before, but I've never known him to be like, oh, I'm going to go get a piece of ass. He treated girls nice. He was a little shy.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to, at first, he was shy. He wasn't one of them boast about
Did
girls.
you know he was expelled for 10 days for sexual misconduct?
That was at Mount Pleasant
Yeah.
for telling the teacher that this must be your time of the month. That's what.
Did he bring that up to you? Did he mention that to you?
No, he didn't mention that to me.
You just remember that?
That's the school I was going at the time, and I was there with him. He was
Yeah.
going with me in that school, and I remember when it happened. I was told. It's just so hard to believe. Chad Payne. You ever heard that name?
Oh, absolutely.
He showed up at the trailer at about midnight, 1 in the morning. This guy's never been there before. Never. And he wanted to just have a place to lay down. He went in and laid down. And I got up real early because it's hard for me to sleep with people in my house I don't know. And he was already gone. And that was weird to me.
Yeah.
It was really weird to me. I'm trying to get all these things out that I've been holding.
No, I hear you, man.
And I want it solved. And I know you got my brother on your mind. And
Look, what do you think would
really
happen? When's the last time you talked to him on the phone?
My brother?
Yeah.
Not long ago. Maybe a couple days ago.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. What do you think would happen? And what do you think would happen if you called him up and you said, man, I just spoke with old investigator McNeil, and he said you told him you were at the trailer 2 days before she was killed? Did you say that? And see what his response is. I think he's going to say, man, I didn't say that. He's lying.
Okay.
Do you have a problem doing that?
No, not one bit. I was going to do it anyways, to kind of see what he would say.
Well, Casey, I'd like to sit here for a minute. I'd like to calm down a minute, and I'd like for you to do that in my presence so I could hear what he has to say.
It's going to be tough to pretend like nothing's going on. My brother knows me. And
well, Casey, if if I can't be a part of that and hear his response, I can't take your word for it. I can't.
I don't think I'd be able to pull it off.
What about a text message?
Oh man, I could text no problem because it'd be my voice and I'd be shaking. I don't know. It'd just be tough to do.
What if you sent him a text message and
I
said,
could probably send a text message.
Said, dude, I just spoke with Investigator McNeil, and he said you told him you were in the trailer 2 days before she was killed.
All right.
Is that true? See what he says. Hey, Casey, do you mind if I see your last couple text messages that you had with him?
Yeah. My draft. Not very many. I think he got a new number or something.
What?
I might say some things like you're just straight up lying to him or something.
What's how far back? This is Wednesday of last week. No, yeah, that's last month. Got to be February 23rd. So there isn't any text message communication between you and him about his interview. All that was verbal.
Yeah, it was probably all verbal. Or I don't know. Let me go to my Facebook, see if he said anything. But I don't think he.
How old are you, Casey?
I am 36.
36.
Yes, sir. Let me check Facebook. Phone's glitching.
Have you and Chris had some conversation? I'm sure you have.
Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've talked to them all, just so you know. I've talked to my dad when he got back, and he was pretty shook up about it. It just, the idea of having to pick out one of his kids to say that one of them did it, he just didn't appreciate that, which you're just doing your job.
Yeah.
But he said that really tore him up, having to think of each one of his kids and which one might do it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
anyways, I didn't see anything recent from Corey. on Facebook, you're more than welcome.
No, man, that's fine. I mean,
He doesn't really use Facebook. Yeah, the last one was January 2nd.
why do you think Chris said what he said?
The way he told me,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a good conversation, was he told me, and I took it another way, was he's good. He's good at his job. And he's being very thorough, and he was thorough with me to the point where I was maybe getting a little aggravated, but he's thorough. And I told him, that's what he said, I told him, if he keeps going like this, he's going in the right direction. And what he meant was how thorough you were, was what I got out of my brother.
Okay.
And I feel the same way. You are very thorough. And
Well, I can tell you, Casey, that as your brother was getting up and walking out, I told him, Chris, I appreciate your time and your patience, but I'm going to have to do to your brothers and your dad what I just did to you, and I think I'm on the right track. He said, Mike, I think you are too. That is not taken out of context. That is should be exactly verbatim of what was said between him and I. And I was, that's why I just asked you, why do you think he said that? But your explanation is
that, to me, I mean, I feel like I know my brothers, and whenever he told me that's how
you took it?
That's how I took it from number one. Because when you told me that, that's the first time I ever heard it like that.
Yeah.
Ever, in that angle.
Yeah. Okay. Let's type this text message out and see what he says.
Oh yeah, we never did that. Okay.
I hear what you're saying, man, about the jackrag being under the mattress, and that's...
I mean, hey, look, I've done that. I've tucked it behind there. Could have. But I want to stay open-minded. But just got done talking with Detective McNeely?
Yeah,
McNeil, sorry.
Okay, bro, so I just got done talking with Detective McNeil, and he told me you said you were at the trailer 2 days before the murder. Is that true?
I want to help. I feel like I know something.
Huh?
I feel like I know something.
Yeah.
Because I was close to her.
Right.
We were really good
Dude,
friends.
I know you want to help. I know you do. Listen, man, you didn't have a hand in this. There ain't no doubt in my mind you didn't have anything to do with it. And there are so many people out here that think that you did.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dragging me through the mud.
I'm not one of them. I'm not one of them.
All right. But, it's like, oh, the weight's off my shoulders, but now it's like you're trying to put on my brother, so...
I'm not trying to put anything on anybody.
You're following physical evidence.
And statements that he has made.
Okay. I know he's at work.
I know it's hard, dude.
He might be at work right now.
Yeah, I know.
But if he did it, I'd want to know, and I'd want to make sure that she had justice. I really don't feel like he did it.
I know I wouldn't want to believe it.
There's nothing funny about anyone else. Nothing weird. Everything checks out.
Listen, there is so much he said, she said in this case file. There is so many dopers that say they heard this, or maybe they actually did say it. Maybe Chris did say something. Maybe JB did say something. Maybe somebody did say something. But again, you're not supposed to go take for face value rumors of what he said, she said. What you do is you focus on what is the absolute truth. What do we know for certain? Okay? That's what you focus in on, and that's what you go after. And I guarantee you, Casey, if Corey was in Melbourne that weekend, that would have been known to investigators. If he was at the trailer, like he says he was, that would have been known to you, and you would have made that known in all of these dozens of interviews that you have provided.
And you're feeling like he's trying to give himself an alibi, or giving him a reason for why that's there.
Yes. There's no other reason for him to say, I was in that trailer 2 days before she was killed.
Maybe he answered.
What'd he say?
He said, nope, he's trying to trip us up. I told him, don't remember that. Or, I don't remember that.
Okay. Casey, can I take a picture of that with my phone, please? Please?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That right there was one of the most heated parts of our conversation. There is no way that he doesn't remember that discussion from last week. Okay? That was one of the most heated interactions that me and him had, was the fact that he said he was in that trailer 2 days before she was killed, and now he's denying it.
I gotta look on both sides here. If he was heated, it's always easy to say something you don't mean, or say something on accident. Happens to me all the time. Say not the right thing, not the right words, not the right amount of words, I just don't. I don't know, like this. Well, where were you? How come you can't remember? Well, I don't know. Maybe I was there a couple days before. I don't know. Maybe, kind of like that. I wouldn't. I don't know.
But what did I tell you before you sent that?
You told me he'd probably say it didn't ever happen.
Why would he lie?
I don't know. My hope is that he's not lying.
As God is my witness, he just lied to you. Just like he lied to me. He wasn't in that trailer 2 days before she was killed. He was in that trailer Monday morning.
Okay. In a cold case like this, it's 16 years old. Imagine how much trouble tiny little words can get you in. That's why I was so afraid to talk to you. Because you might try and pick my alibi apart. But just imagine, and I've thought of it, how 2 words can turn you into convicted to innocent. That's what scares me right now, is you're interpreting my brother and his behavior a different way, which...
I'm taking what your brother says at face value. I'm not twisting or interpreting anything.
You are. You are. I honestly believe you are. And it's your own narrative, and you're using physical evidence that's at the trailer that has perfectly good reason being there. And as far as him saying, oh, I know, I still don't feel like he said, I was there. Oh, I was there for sure. 100%. I remember 2 days before. Because it was 15, 16 years ago. How was he supposed to remember for sure where he was? I kind of feel like my brother's lawyer right now, but it's like when I go to hang out with my brother and visit him and play with his kids, and my kids play with his kids, it's like I've got to act a little different now.
Man, this ain't easy.
I know, and
there ain't nothing easy about it. Why do you think he signed over rights to his 12-year-old?
He didn't want to deal with tequila, I figured. You know what? We were all a little worried about that and wondered why he did that. And you can't really tell him what to do.
Right.
So we didn't want to pull on those strings too much.
Yeah.
In fear that he didn't want to talk about it, and he eventually signed him over. And
you think he was...
he tried. He tried to rekindle and get back with him.
You think it was a monetary motive where he just didn't want to have to pay child support? Or, I mean, I'm sure he was paying child support.
Yeah, he was supposed to pay child support, and he was real upset that he had someone else who was calling him daddy. And after he found that out, he kind of stopped trying.
Yeah.
Because he told him straight up, so this is my daddy, you're not my daddy.
Yeah.
That's what his son said. So he kind of just was like, all right, well, I'll sign you over then if that's what you want.
Yeah.
That was recently, right? It wasn't
a
long time ago.
Very recently. Whenever I came across that little nugget of information, that seemed to be very... Because, I've got 3 boys. You've got kids. That's not something that you hear a father doing. I mean, I don't know of anybody else in my 45 years of signing over, their kid all rights. I've never heard of any. I know it's done. I know people do it. I've never met anybody that's done it. That's a really an unusual thing to do.
We all pushed him to try and make it work, and don't worry, he'll come around. He's gonna want to know his daddy eventually, But I guess it didn't work, and he just went and signed him over.
Yeah.
But we were all a little, not really upset, but sad about it.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you ever remember a time when you and Corey and Rebekah smoked marijuana together?
Nope. I didn't do it with him and Rebekah.
Okay.
If I did do it with him, it was with his friends, just him and his friends.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Because he was a lot younger than me, and I was 20, and
right,
which would have made him 16.
He was 17 when this happened.
Okay.
Yeah. He said that he remembers hanging out with you and Rebekah on a number of occasions, but really doesn't remember much about those interactions.
I feel like my brother has enough respect for me, being his older brother and the things we did together and how we did it all, that he would not do this.
Yeah.
To me, he would be intimidated to do that and then be afraid of what I was going to do. my brother looked up to me. He didn't look down on me.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. And I told you when we first met, I've got a twin brother that I believe respects me, and there wasn't nobody closer growing up than twins, right? We were tight. I was out of town. He went over to my girlfriend's house and he tried to get him some ass.
Are you kidding?
And he got up in her face and he tried to strong arm her and he scared her. Okay? My brother, as far as I know, has never has been physically abusive to any females, but he likes pussy and he likes strange pussy and he wants to get pussy whenever he can get it. And she was scared. She was scared. And I confronted him about it. He didn't deny it. But even, and I say all that to say this, even with a twin, sometimes brothers will do things like that. It's not uncommon, and it's not far-fetched, and it's not unreasonable for Corey to swing by. I think he swung by to see if he could get some marijuana, because he was smoking marijuana at that time and he knew Rebekah smoked marijuana. I think he probably went by there just to get some weed, and then he was going to get south. But I think whenever he walked in, she was in the back. I think she went back to bed, and just one thing. I don't think he intended to kill her. There's no way he intended to do that. That wasn't an intentional thing. I mean, her injuries were not, in my opinion, her injuries do not look like somebody had the intention of causing death to her. He fucking knocked her out, fucked her up. Blood was everywhere, and he probably thought he killed her, and he fucking panicked. I know that's crazy, man. I know.
The whole time you said that, I imagined Jennifer Turner. She was the one who had the motive. She had the most pent-up aggression towards her. And she'd been there before. She knew where she'd be. She knew she was going out of town and coming back to town. And I did hear her one day I was flipping a cheeseburger at Sonic, okay? Mm-hmm. She's behind me. She's my manager at the time.
Right.
I'm flipping a cheeseburger, and this was months before. Probably before I even knew Rebekah. And she said, if I ever wanted to get away with anything, I'd have my sister take my credit card and go to another town and get in a camera and use it, because she looks just like me. Mm-hmm. Those were her exact words. Ask Bruce Shipman. And I've heard that's her alibi. I know it's hearsay. It's not physical evidence.
Right. You're getting back into the he said, she said stuff.
That's all I have, sir.
That's not all I have. Casey, I know I've put a lot on you, and I'm not asking you to do anything. There isn't anything you can do. I'm lead on this now. This is my investigation, and it has been for some time. And I knew whenever I got this, I knew this day was going to happen. I was going to reach out to you, and that we were going to talk. And of course, I wanted to have a really good understanding of the case file and what has been done and what hasn't been done. I had no idea that whenever we first met, that this would be the conversation that we were having. I had no idea.
Same here.
But whenever I saw the interview that you gave, and you made it known that whoever did this washed towels, put them in the dryer, and then wash sheets. And I confirmed that was absolutely the truth. That's what happened. Let me tell you, man, I had an absolute laser focus on J.B. Yates. All of the statements that he has made where he contradicts himself, and all this kind of stuff, all of the rumors and what people have heard, and all, Dennis Simons really liked Chris Cantrell for it. He thought Chris was responsible. But whenever I found out about the towels and the period of time that whoever did this, this person spent at least an hour or more at a homicide scene. There is no way anybody is going to do that unless they know you're at work without a vehicle and they know Claude is out of state on a run.
I think the chances are higher. Now, as far as chances that it could have been, I don't want to totally rule it out, but I mean, as far as statistically speaking, which aren't always right, then yeah, but it's just, I don't want to rule out something crazy and random happening. Just saying, oh well, we've got barely this physical evidence and this self-admission, and to me it's not enough.
Now a lie on top of the admission.
Maybe I do have to hear that now, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let me see.
Nothing against you, but it's
no,
your brother.
No, I completely understand. What I want to do is I want you to have a very clear understanding of what information I have and how I'm looking at it. Okay?
Okay.
So I don't have a problem showing you that portion of the interview at all.
Okay.
Okay? And after you see it, maybe we can, I don't know. I just got to think about it some more about where we're at, and where we're going, and
I mean, now, I said it before, I believe you. I mean, I believe you, but I want to see if my brother in any way meant it some other way. Because me and him, we've talked to each other. We know how we talk. We know what we mean when we're saying stuff. So I want to make sure that what you think he said is what he said.
Well, listen here. I believe that his exact words that he used were probably 2 days before.
Probably.
Okay? So if he says probably 2 days before, in the span of a week, how does that change the statement?
Span of a week. I'm trying to keep up with you here.
Well, what's the difference between him saying, I was there 2 days before she was killed,
okay,
or I was there probably 2 days before she was killed? We know he was in Searcy going to school Monday through Friday. At least he was supposed to be.
Okay.
Okay? So it's reasonable to conclude that he wasn't in Melbourne, he wasn't out at the trailer at Guyan that previous week. And you definitely don't remember that happening. That hasn't been known in the case file. There's no information about that in the case file. So by him saying, I was there 2 days before she was killed, or I was probably there 2 days before she was killed, to me, looking at that statement objectively, he's either putting himself in that trailer either Saturday or Friday. And either way, you would have known that. And that information would have been in the case file.
But what if my brother was there and he didn't do it? What if he did show up for 5 minutes for some god-awful reason besides that, what if he's telling the truth? I mean, does that not...
Okay, why? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's explore that.
Yeah.
Why does he come to that trailer? Why would he show up at that trailer?
Well, it's where his family lives. It's where he grew up.
He knows Dad's on the road. His dad's was making a run to California.
It's always been a sanctuary for us boys.
Okay, that's right.
Always.
I believe that. Okay.
I mean, ain't got nowhere to go. That's where we're going, whether Dad's home or not. But
would it be unusual for him to come to the trailer and spend time there and you not know it?
I'd say it's possible, because we barely... I mean, these cell phones were new, and none of us could afford them, so, I mean, like, when Corey was in town, he was just there, boom. Hey, I'm here. Hey, Corey's here. You know, it was
right.
Never, hey, I'm on my way.
Right.
We didn't have it.
Right.
Which I had one, but it was never had minutes on it. Right. And I only used it for texting because it was 1 unit per text.
Right.
And it saved minutes. I got another one. And so far, you've been very respectful to me, and I appreciate that. This is really hard too, but have you ever looked at Danielle? I know it's her sister, but she was the very first person to tell me, and it's in the case file. She called me and told me Rebekah was missing. She was the very first one to say missing out of her mouth.
Well, because they were supposed to go back to Fayetteville,
right, and she was
Monday.
Miles down the road, but she wanted me to go back and check. She'd been there before. She's been there. That's what she says over and over.
Right.
I'm used to that place. Why wouldn't she go back and check her sister? Me? I thought she was gone. I thought she was gone already gone.
Right.
So I didn't worry, and I was just gonna go with my friends and not, don't trouble yourself over her. Let
right.
her do her thing.
Right.
And you go just hang out with your friends tonight.
Right.
That's how that went down. And while I was on the way there, because I was in Laren's, it was either on the way there or on the way to pick up my truck at my dad's trucking company, she called, or she texted me, and said she needed to talk to me, so I used Laren's phone to call and talk to her, and she said, Casey, have you seen Rebekah? She's been missing. And I was like, have you tried Justin? Because that's normally where she was at. And she says, we did try him, we can't find her. And I was like, well, I mean, that was where I would think she would be. I mean, I honestly think she's off somewhere, because that's
right.
She's done it more than once.
Right.
And then that's the same way. When I come in that morning to get that shirt that morning and seen her car there, it's like, okay, she's in Justin's car. They're back roading down my road right here, smoking a joint or something.
Right.
I mean, last thing you think of is murder.
But yeah. But why would Danielle?
Only a few times did Rebekah tell me, she said, you know what, Casey? Sometimes I don't know if I want to do this. And I go, what do you mean? Go out here to college. I mean, this ain't me. You move off to a big city.
Yeah.
This ain't me. I've always been with Justin in this small town, living this small town dream. And I told her, I said, oh, you can always change your mind, but, I mean, go better yourself. And then I gave her a chance. I said, if you want, you can stay here with me. I don't care. But I feel like you should go. And, but a few times, maybe twice, and it wasn't something we dwelled on or talked about too much. It was just like, that was it, and we was done talking about it. To me, it was not a ding ding at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just hearsay. But she is one of the ones that was so hard on putting me under the microscope with Catherine Townsend and the podcast.
Right.
She was the one.
The thing is with that, Casey, is they have the limited information that they have. They know about the cleanup, and they know about the laundry that was done, and anybody that hears that will automatically assume that whoever did this has a connection to the home. And the thing is, Corey isn't anywhere in the case file. Corey is in Searcy, going to school in Searcy. He's not up here at all. Nobody has ever even talked to Corey about this. And now he's saying he was in the crime scene 2 days before she was killed, and he's just lied to you in a text message. On top of everything else. I just counted 7 or 8 things a minute ago about all of the things that I'm looking at Corey for.
Hey, I gotta respectfully disagree in some of that, so.
Okay.
I mean, not without seeing.
No, I understand.
And hearing, because he's not once acted weird about it, you know.
Well, and see, that's why I brought up the fact him being able to sign all rights away to his son.
Right.
Emotionally speaking, in my opinion, people that are able to do something like that, they can compartmentalize things very well. Okay, that would be a traumatic event in my life or in your life if you had to sign over a child where you gave up full custody and full rights to your child. That would be a traumatic event to me and to you.
Yes.
It's not to him. He's able to compartmentalize that. He's able to put it somewhere, put it in a room, close it, and move on. And people that are that way can do that about other traumatic things that happen. That's just a fact.
Well, there's people like that who don't murder people too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No question. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm trying to think of, make sure I've told you everything, at least that
Well,
I
dude,
thought.
let me make sure I get your phone number.
Yeah, man. Hey, my wife's calling. Well, I'll just message her. My wife's trying to call me. She's probably worried sick.
870
291
291
3185.
3185. Okay.
That is my number, Casey McCullough.
Okay, I just called you, so
Okay.
my number's going to pop up, and I'm going to put you in my phone here.
You said you just called?
Yeah.
Did I spell it right?
No.
Okay, well.
It's MCN. Let me get EILL.
Okay.
Listen, dude, I am very impressed with you as a human being, and I'm very impressed with Chris as a human being. I think your dad is a super nice guy.
Just got flags on my brother Corey.
Listen, man, I thought Randy was going to be good for it, you know, but he's not. Randy was in the military up until October the 6th. He was discharged 2 weeks after this happened.
Okay.
You know, I was thinking, you know, my focus has been the male McCulloughs, right? A male McCullough who had a connection to that home. And I've went through everybody. And I kept Corey for last because I thought it was one of the other guys. I thought it was somebody else.
Okay.
I didn't think it was Corey.
Why didn't y'all talk to him back then?
Nobody knew he was around. He was never even brought up. You didn't mention him in any of your interviews.
Right, but I mean, yeah, you look at the suspects in our close circle, not the suspect, but the murder victim's circle, not the suspect. Normally, so you wouldn't have looked at my circle then. You would have been looking at hers.
No, well, if I was handling it in 04,
Yeah.
I'd be handling it the same way I am now.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's a no-brainer for me and how I process stuff. I mean, I can't believe this hasn't been done.
I feel the same way, and to tell you the truth, I feel like if y'all have got to him then, he would have had all that.
Absolutely. There ain't no way that the Arkansas State Police can't break down a 17-year-old. This would have been taken care of in 2004 if we had known Corey was even around.
I'm still saying you would have been able to have his everything checked out in his alibi then, because right now, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You're saying you've got this physical evidence, which is, on your end, that's good for you, bad for him. Is it a bad circumstance? Maybe. You don't know that 100%. You don't. And you're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it's the all I can do is look at the totality of the circumstances, the totality of the information I have. What is reasonable and what is not reasonable.
Is that the definition of totality? Because I don't know the definition of that. I'm sorry.
Well,
what is reasonable and what's not?
The totality is what is everything combined together. You take everything. You take the totality of everything. The physical evidence, the statements, everything that we have.
So you would risk putting him behind bars for the rest of his life with what you've got?
I'm not saying that.
Because to me, I wouldn't be willing to chance that when he wasn't talked to 14, 15, 16 years ago. Like, if there was a shadow of doubt at all, I wouldn't.
Right.
And
I
have a doubt.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. What if? Let me give you. What if we found his fingerprint or his DNA in an item that was inside her purse? Would that seal the deal for you?
Just don't see why he would be in her purse.
You know,
I don't want to act like I'm just...
No, this case is going to come down to physical evidence. It's going to come down to physical evidence. And I'm not saying we have his fingerprint or his DNA in her purse, but it's, something, there's got to be something out there.
So you feel like whoever did it went through her purse?
Well,
was everything in there?
I think that Rebekah probably had a little bit of weed in her purse. There wasn't any weed in her purse. I think that Rebekah was in bed whenever he showed up. He walked in and her purse is on the table in the living room. He went through it, got her weed, and moseyed on back to the bedroom to see what was going on back there.
Okay, so...
That's what I think.
During this time, I was trying to get off the weed. And we had a heartwarming moment where he was telling me to pour my bag out.
Uh-huh.
I was the one that was into the weed.
Okay. He's already self-admitted. He's already said that he was smoking weed back then during the
joint every once in a while with his friends doesn't mean he bought his own bags.
He barely graduated high school because of his attendance. Listen, I smoked pounds and pounds of marijuana in my day. Okay? I missed a lot of school, and I was just barely getting by, man. I'm telling you, I know the lifestyle. I lived it. Okay? Smoking marijuana at 17 is like breathing. Okay? He wasn't trying to get off of it, or he was right in the middle of that lifestyle. He had no supervision. He barely graduated high school because of all of the days that he missed. So during this period of time, he was not trying to get off marijuana. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy because he was smoking weed. I'm just telling you, during this period of time, he was smoking every day if he had it. And that's the only reason he stopped by was to get some from Rebekah.
Not my brother. I know him. I knew him then. I know him now. He didn't smoke pot like that.
Okay.
I'm the pot smoker of the family. I'm the black sheep. And it's all because of this. Smoked my life away after this. But my brother was not. I mean, he'd smoke it every once in a while, but he was no. And I'm telling you what you're getting out of my brother right now, he does it with all of his brothers. He just brags and boasts and tries to be better. And I'm hearing that from you. Exactly how my brother would act.
Mm.
And he's always been like that with all of us. And what he's basically saying, like when you say, did you ever get in any fights? He's like, yeah, I've been in some fights. That's my brother. He's just trying to be bigger than you. He's trying to be bigger than me all the time. Bigger than, I would never let him. And I told him, I said, no matter how big you get, because he's bigger than me.
Yeah.
I said, I will always intimidate you, being your older brother. I said, yeah, a little bit. But I know you was really wanting to get.
Dude, I don't have to have you on board. I don't.
But I really still don't believe you, sir.
That's fine. And
I don't mean the comment. I mean
it's
overall.
It's not. I'm not here to try to convince you one way or another.
You're here for.
I'm here to let you know that, I'm working this case, and the way I see it right now, I've got to run this out as far as I can take it to see what pops up, to see what else, to see what else information is out there about Corey during this period of time.
I understand that. You got to do your job, and if the evidence, which is what y'all. I mean, if it's physical evidence, that's gold for y'all, right? And that's all. That's what you've got is that rag with both profiles on it.
I can't talk specifically about the evidence.
That's fine.
So, listen, man, if you have any questions or you think of anything or you want to talk or whatever, I'm in Searcy, but I don't mind coming up here and sit down with you and talking to you about any of this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Something comes up or you hear something or, I'm sure you and Chris are pretty close, right? Aren't you two guys the two closest brothers?
No.
I mean, y'all are living together.
No.
Really?
Me and Corey. Corey's always. What it was we were the two youngest brothers, right?
Yeah.
We had the two oldest brothers, so they kind of.
Yeah, but Chris is 1 year older than you, right?
Yeah, it still didn't matter. He was always quiet and didn't talk much.
Yeah.
Corey, he was all wanting to talk and share his opinion, but Chris, he's just quiet all the time.
Yeah.
But
listen, dude, let me tell you, Casey, I'm not going to railroad your brother. I am not going to railroad your brother. Okay, I'm not. I'm not going to make stuff up. I'm not going to take things out of context. I'm not going to railroad Corey at all. I'm telling y'all, that's not who I am. Because if this ever does go to trial, I've got to be able to sit on that stand and raise my right hand and know that everything that I did was done the right way. Okay?
right.
My reputation and the job that I do and that the job that I've done for the past 24 years, I don't have any blemishes. I don't have any disciplinary. I've never been caught providing false information because I don't. Okay? So please believe me and trust me when I say I'm not out to get Corey. Okay? I'm out to get the truth. And right now, the information that I'm getting is pointing me towards your brother. Okay? And I'll just leave it at that. And I know this is I can't enforce this, and you just told me that you and Corey are the close brothers out of all of them.
He's the one that I've always felt responsible for.
Yeah.
type kind of deal.
Well, dude, if you want to see if there is ever the chance of there being justice for Rebekah, everything that we've discussed, everything that we've talked about has got to stay between you and me. I truly believe that. If you want justice for Rebekah, you have to trust me, and I've put a lot of trust in you because I've told you a lot of shit that nobody knows. Okay? I've put trust in you, and I'd ask that you put some trust in me. I think you know that I'm sincere and that I'm honest.
It's going to be hard because he's my brother.
I know it's going to be hardcore, Casey.
You want me to go back and not tell him what we talked about? Is that it?
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be hard because, I get it. You say, if I say something and he did do it, then I've blown it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, then I won't say anything. But I still don't think my brother did it.
And you have every right to think that, and I respect that. There's nothing wrong with you having those feelings for your brother.
The only thing I'm talking about is that message I sent him because I've got to somehow.
Right.
But it's hurting me.
I know it is. I know it is. I know it is. Just keep it, very, that we only spoke for probably 5 minutes. McNeil seemed like he was a fucking jackass, like he was a real son of a bitch. You can say something like that and he'll probably know exactly what you're talking about, and just leave it at that. Just kind of, we talked for maybe 5 minutes, and he said that you were in the trailer 2 days before she was killed, and I told him I didn't remember. I didn't think you were there.
No, I'm going to tell him what I did. I said, hey, there's no way my brother did that.
Yeah.
Because that's the truth. It's a lot easier for me to tell the truth.
Yeah. Right.
But I will keep.
You have to keep the integrity of the investigation if you want justice for Rebekah.
And I can screw that up.
Absolutely you can. I'm telling you, man, I'm not on a witch hunt. I'm not on a witch hunt for Corey. I'm not. But there are still things that need to be done that involve this part of the investigation.
I agree. But I just keep what if it was all just a coincidence.
Yeah.
And that's what tears at me the most, because my brother does not need to go to prison for this if he didn't do it.
I completely agree.
You've got to have
absolutely
100%.
Absolutely. I agree.
Okay.
I agree. We're not bringing 16 years later on a cold case.
Right.
You don't bring a half-baked case file to a prosecutor and want charges. You don't do it. Right now, we're nowhere close. We're nowhere close. But with that being said, there are some very concerning statements and very concerning information that is just now being known about this investigation. And that's where we're at. Okay? All right, brother. I appreciate your time, Casey. I really do.
No problem. If you ever want to talk to me again, you got my number.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best before you serve. There's no promises.
I'm not asking you to do nothing. I'm not asking you to do nothing. Okay, Casey? You don't have to do nothing for me. I'm not asking you for nothing.
I'm all right. I'm a man. I got kids. I got a wife. I'll be all right.
Okay. All right. I'll be in touch, man. I'll holler at you sometime, okay?
All right, man.
Okay. See you.
See you. Yeah, go ahead.
concluded at approximately 5 p.m.